Oh yes, the ugliest 420 has got a brother. So I got this thing all put together, I got the driver, it all showed up, and I'm quite pleasantly surprised. I initially put it together and it's like, it's okay. But after a couple of hours, 3-4 hours of listening, or just letting it play actually to break the speaker in a little bit, it is sounding really nice at this point in time. It sounds way better than the Polk Audio speaker that's right beside it. The best way to kind of articulate what it sounds like is if I listen to the one, then listen to the other. This speaker here just sounds clear, it sounds clean, and it's not tinny, it's not bassy, it just sounds really, really nice. The vocals are just amazing on the SB acoustic speakers. Versus the RTI A7. The RTI A7 is the best way I can describe it is they sound very muddy, and I don't know if distorted is the right word. I don't think that's the right word, but muddy. It sounds very like it's kind of being played through a tube, or it's just not as clean. It's just definitely not as clean. So it's definitely sounding better at this point. So my first build versus an RTI A7, there is no comparison. It sounds really good, and it puts out some really nice bass. I actually turn the sub off now when I'm listening, and I prefer to listen if I've just got quiet listening volume. I just run the B channel, which is where that speaker's on, or that set of 2 speakers is on, and I'm only listening to that speaker, no sub, no other channels, no nothing. The downside of that is it's not stereo, and for most songs it's fine. For some songs when you listen to it, you're definitely missing out on some stuff. A prime song to demonstrate how bad it can be with just one speaker is A Wall of Nation Sail. Try listening to that with just one channel. The intro just is totally wrecked. So some songs work, whatever. Most of the time it works, or it sounds decent for low volume listening. What I also did when I put this thing together, I don't know if you can see the port there. It just is a 3/4 inch plywood that the speaker box is built in. So I changed the setup a little bit from what I showed you guys, and the frequency is now different. The reason I did that is I gave myself the option, if I set the port up with a 3/4 inch depth and I think it was 1 1/4 inch hole, I can very easily drill that thing out and put an actual port in, which is actually what I'm going to end up doing, I think. But anyway, this one here is, I think it's 27 hertz is the frequency of the box. This one here is about 50, and I tried to do this just because of the curve of the way the speakers are, to try to kind of balance that out a little bit, or just to play with it to see how much that changes the sound of it. This thing definitely puts out the bass, more bass than this speaker. But when it's at lower volumes, you can hear there's lower frequencies coming out of the top box than there is out of the bottom one. And I'm thinking that's probably because of the frequency that the box is tuned to. So I've listened to it now for quite a while with the 50 hertz frequency on the box. So my next plan was going to be, I'm going to drill out that hole, change it to 28 or 30, whatever the recommended frequency is for that driver, and actually just take a piece of PVC pipe, glue that thing in, and then I'll have a port tuned to the same frequency as this one to kind of see how that changes it up. If I like how that goes, then I think the next step is going to be to de-uglify this and actually build a nice speaker. But before I do that, I want to try another port. The crossover, the theory of the crossover, I guess I didn't talk about that. That did work out well. So with XSIM, all I ended up doing to change that crossover for that speaker is I just took out the 1 resistor, and that's it. Literally just wired that speaker to the same channel that this one's on. So these two are running off the same crossover. And that's perfect. It's nothing extra needs to be done. So yeah, for build number 1, that is very good listening for me. I enjoy it. So I will conclude it after I drill that port out. Anyway, if you want to see what my feedback is to it after I put that whole or change that frequency on that box to, I think it's 27 or 28, whatever. I'll leave that video up on the side and you can kind of follow me along with that. But there she be.